okay? Because I feel like that was something some of us kind of struggled with a little bit. So in terms of concentration, a solution with a large amount of solute in a solvent is, and we have to answer that, right, with concentrated or dilute. So you got to know what the words solute, solvent, and solution are talking about, right? So just a reminder of what you're doing there with that. We wrote it in our notes. We kind of drew a picture of like a beaker, and then we said, okay, whatever I put into it, that is the solute. The stuff that I'm putting it into is the solvent, and then together those make a solution, right? So that was the order of putting things into our little beaker there. So if we're talking about a situation where I have a lot more solute than the solvent, we're talking about concentrated. With the other situation, so 23, if we have something where we have a little bit of solute compared to the solvent, so we're watering it down, that's when we're talking about dilute. So the answers to 22 and 23, concentrated and dilute. All right, number 24, you have 3-liter solution that contains 45 grams of sucrose. What is the solution's molarity? So looking at the information that was given to us, we have 3 liters right here, so that's volume. Contains 45 grams of sucrose. What's the molarity? So I'm going to circle the word molarity. So 24 is asking us to plug into our equation that we were learning about, where we were given a triangle to help us with some of our algebra. So just a reminder of that triangle, we have molarity is the big M is equal to moles divided by liters. So remember, when they are one over the other, that is going to be a division. When they are next to each other, that's multiplication, right? So for this one, we know that we're going to cover up the big M. That's what molarity is, right? So we covered up big M. We're left with moles divided by liters. So we already know that's what we're plugging into. The problem is that we have liters, we don't have moles. So we had to solve for this first, all right? So in order to do that, we're going to take that 45 grams, we're going to divide it by the molar mass, right? That's where we did times in a line kind of thing. And so we were dividing it by the molar mass of sucrose. So sucrose's molar mass, if you just want to write it down so you know where the number came from, is 342.3 grams per mole. So once we have that molar mass, if I give you the molar mass, you're just going to divide the two numbers like that. That means that's how you type it in, by the way. 45 divided 342.3. You should be getting 0.131 moles. Now you have everything that you need in order to plug into this. So I'm going to have molarity is equal to 0.131 divided by liters. We're going to grab from the problem, which was 3.0. When I plug that into the calculator, I'm going to get 0.0436, I think. So I'm going to round it up to 0.044. And that was the final answer. So remember, the only reason we had to do this extra step was because it was given to us in grams. When it's given to us in grams, we got to be ready to divide it by the molar mass. We will provide you with molar masses. We won't ask you guys to solve for that. Okay? All right. So this is number 24. Number 25, I'll just kind of do right below it. We have a beaker contains 0.1 liters, okay, of a 12 molar solution of HCl. What would the new molarity be if you added water to it to make its new volume 300 milliliters? So a couple things to notice here. First, you have 3 numbers given to you. That means you can't plug into this triangle or else you have nothing to solve for, right? You would plug in for all 3 and then you're like, ha, just kidding, like 5 is equal to 2. No, it's not, right? So, so this tells you that you're not using that formula. Also, you have 2 things that are talking about something, and then you have something about something new, right? The new molarity. So that means that we're going to be plugging in for our dilution formula. So M1V1 is equal to M2V2. So with this, we're just going to kind of plug and chug straight into it. okay? So our molarity, we have 12 molar solution. We're going to multiply it by the volume. But before we do that, one is in liters, the other one is in milliliters. So I'm going to take that liters, I'm going to change it to 100 milliliters. You could have changed this one to liters. It doesn't matter, but you have to change one of them because they're not talking about the same thing. Okay? I will not do that one to you tomorrow. Okay? We're just doing this because it's a review. All right? You will be asked to plug into it, though, so be ready for this part. So we're going to put 100 for V1. Okay? Then we're going to set that equal to, we're solving for new molarity, M2. We're going to multiply that by our second volume, which was 300. Okay? So this is the step where everybody gets to and then they get stuck and they're like, how do I do this? All right. So the technique that we all agreed on was we're going to take the side that doesn't have the letter, the variable on it. We're going to go ahead and simplify this side. So this side doesn't have any letters on it, so we're going to multiply those two together. So now what I have is I have 1200 is equal to M2 times 300, right? So this makes it a little bit friendlier on the eyes, okay? But you still kind of get stuck. The M needs to stay where it is. Don't do anything with that M. He has to stay on this side of the equal sign. We have to move the number away from it. We're not going to subtract. We're going to divide by 300 on both sides. When we divide by 300, that cancels our right-hand side out. And then 1200 divided by 300 will give me the answer 4. Okay, as our final answer. I apologize that I went flat on this one, but are there any questions on these two setups?